Hey, are you still using personal credit to fund your business? Well, that's a profit killer. When your business and personal finances are tied together, one mistake could wreck your credit and your confidence. In this week's Profit with a Plan, we're breaking down how to build corporate credit so that your business stands on its own, your personal assets stay protected, and growth finally feels sustainable. It's time to separate, scale, and succeed, so tune in to Profit with a Plan. Hey, entrepreneurs, are you working too hard for too little profit? Well, welcome to Profit with a Plan podcast, where we help you scale smarter, increase profitability, and build a business that's worth more, whether you keep it or sell it. I'm Marcia Riner, business growth strategist and profit booster behind Infinite Profit. I've helped countless entrepreneurs to turn their businesses into highly profitable and sale-ready assets, so they enjoy more income now and a bigger payday later. So join me for practical strategies, expert insights, and proven steps to make your business more profitable, more valuable, and built to last. By the way, today's episode is sponsored by Infinite Profit, where we don't just talk profit, we deliver it. All right, but before we dive in, I've got something special for you. If you're tired of flat revenue or marketing that just doesn't pay off, the new Profit Booster Growth Map might be for you. In just a few minutes, it shows you exactly how to bring in more qualified clients and plug the profit leaks that are eating your cash. Get your profit growth map at profitbooster.biz and start turning missed revenue into real money. All right, let's jump into today's episode. Sue Schuster is a powerhouse when it comes to funding business growth the right way. She's a corporate credit and profit acceleration coach who helps entrepreneurs access capital, scale sustainably, and protect their personal credit along the way. With over 20 years as a business owner and the background of a competitive athlete, Sue brings the discipline, focus, and real-world experience that business owners trust. After selling her own company, she discovered one of the best-kept secrets in business finance. Hey, it's corporate credit. Now she's teaching Main Street entrepreneurs how to use the same strategies that Wall Street has used for years, building credit tied to your EIN, securing funding without personal guarantees, and unlocking growth in as little as 90 days. So welcome to Profit with a Plan, Sue. I'm so glad to have you on today.
Thank you, Marcia. It's great to be here.
Yeah, minus the hiccups we had to get started on
It's
this.
all good,
It's so funny. But you know what I mean? Doing a podcast and having as many as I have, I just kind of, every once in a while hiccup a little bit and we just keep on going. So it's good. But yeah, super excited to talk about this because corporate credit is that forgotten thing that people forget when they're running their business in the early ages to flip that switch on. So I'm really excited to have you come on today. But before we do that, where did corporate credit come into your play? I mean, did you get it from your business?
No, it came out of the blue, according to me. I mean, you say they forgot about corporate credit. I think most of us never learned about corporate credit. Um, so where did it come into play? So as I sold my business and made my way into the coaching, through my coaching, I learned about corporate credit, and I'm like, it hit me in the head with a 2x4. I'm like, wait, I could have what? I
I
could
know,
have
right?
not, I mean, my personal credit wouldn't have been hit every time. And especially in the trades industry, these poor people are leveraging it night and day. Now they can't even get their own car or their own house because their personal credit is in the toilet from their business. And there's
Yeah.
is ways to prove that and to go around that, but it's just hard. So separating from the very, very beginning is huge. Just people don't even know it's a thing. And there's a lot of myths about that. I'm sure we'll get into that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know it's not just getting a corporate credit card. I mean, that's still attached to your personal credit. It's establishing everything. So I'm really excited about having this conversation and going through that. So, okay. With that in mind, let's kind of figure out where we want to bring the audience into what corporate credit really is. Can you define the
Sure.
difference between personal and corporate?
Sure. So think of your EIN number. Now you have to have an EIN number. You have to be a business. I can't tell you how many entrepreneurs, coaches and stuff. I talk to them. I'm like, all right, let's look up not your personal credit. I'm no business in that, but your business credit. And I said, okay, what's the legal name of it? And they're like, what are you talking about? I don't have one. I'm like, you don't have a business. Let's tackle that first. Anyway, the biggest problem is people think they have corporate credit just on their EIN, separate completely from your social security number, because the world told them they did. Their bank says, here's your business card. It has your business name on it. They think it's actually reporting. No, it's personally guaranteed. Either it's getting reported on your personal or it's getting reported to nowhere. It's doing you no good. And then you have these business credit cards, like some of them do report, but most of them don't. And those who don't report anywhere. But those who do, sometimes, like Amex is a big one, reports to an intermediary stage.
Mm.
And so all the good stuff, you've been using this card for great. I mean, you're using it, paying off, using it, paying off. And by the way, that's how you build corporate credit. It's not on your revenue, it's on your expenses. But so you've done that for years, and then one time you're late, that gets reported. And when I say
What?
yes, not fair, it's rigged. So the three reporting agencies are Dun and Bradstreet, Experian, and Equifax. Okay.
Okay, slow down just a second.
I was gonna,
So they're not Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian, which we all know as the personal ones. They're
Mhm.
completely different reporting agencies, right?
Correct.
Can
Correct.
you repeat those three again?
Sure. The big one is Dun and Bradstreet. Dun and Bradstreet is the OG in all of this.
Okay.
Everybody should have a Dunn's number. And that's free,
So
by
it's
the
not
way.
even your own number. It's not your
No.
EIN number. It's a DUNS number that you need.
For yes, but Experian has its own number too, and so does Equifax. And
Okay.
like when you're talking TransUnion, Experian, and Equifax, personal, they all look at things a little bit differently between your usage and your ratios and your limits and all those things. They all look at it slightly different. That's why they take these three and put it together for a FICO score. They do the same thing with business credit. So Dun and Bradstreet looks at it one way, Experian Business looks at it a different, Equifax Business looks at it a different way. They all
Okay.
have their own numbers and they put it together along with your personal. As the business owner, you should know how to work your own finances, but
You should hope.
you should hope. And that's called the SBSS score, is what
Ah,
they're actually funding on. And it's a combination of those four things. When you get the funding, it's not attached to your personal, but your score itself is attached to your personal.
interesting. Okay. So the score you're looking for is that SBSS score, right?
Correct.
And so now I've had let's go back to your American Express story, right? I've been
Sure.
charging, I've been paying it off. I'm buying only business stuff. I'm doing really well. Now I want to go get a line of credit through my bank. And they're asking me for something I don't have because you're saying that American Express probably didn't report anywhere unless you were late.
Yes, not the top card, the black card for American Express that you have to pay millions of dollars in is whatever, it's
And
a
fee
thing.
and annual fees, right?
Yes, that one reports. All the rest of
Okay.
them don't.
Okay.
And they report to this agency called the SBFE. And it's just, so I ended up calling them because now I'm curious. I just learned
Of
about this
course.
world. What the heck? Because I got in a little bit of a thing with one of my clients. He's like, it is reporting. I said, I'm looking at your credit score. No, it's not. Yes, it is. No, it's not. So he calls and he finds all this information out. So now I call because I'm interested. And Dun and Bradstreet answers the phone and for the SBFE. And I'm like, well, why isn't this reporting? Well, you can have it report if you jump through these hoops and da da da. So you can make it report.
If you're completely aware of it up front, but
Right,
most business owners are busy chasing fires and chasing clients and putting out fires that they're not thinking about this. They're
right,
just chugging along thinking they're
right.
get
They're
building
thinking
credit.
it's reporting. It's not. Not fair.
Okay.
I know. It's what I do.
Okay, so that's crazy. All right. So now we know that we've got to have these three things. Do we have to, I mean, to build credit, do we have to jump through all these hoops or is there an easier way?
Unfortunately, no, there's not an easier way. I
Okay.
wish I could tell you yes. It does take time to build. business credit just like it does personal. But so think of it like this. So you're 18-year-old kid and you start to build your credit. By the time you're 19, you don't have much more credit. You're still having your parents personally guarantee all you're not getting a mortgage. You might have got a car, maybe. But the difference between an 18-year-old to a 19-year-old or a business, a startup to a year one, a year two is huge. So
Mm,
you build credit a lot faster, but it's not in a month.
got it.
So the first thing that you have to do that everybody likes to skip, they want to go right for the vendors and trade lines and everything else. And that's not where you have to start. You have to build a credible business first. And
Okay.
that looks at your EIN number, that looks at the state, making sure that you're not filed as a lawyer or something random, and you have the right address in there. Is your address a home address? They don't like home addresses. I know us home businesses can do really well, and we do really well, but the banks don't like it. And the reason why the
Wow.
banks don't like it is because a lot of people claim to be something for an interim amount of time. Like they lost their job, got laid off, and now they've decided to be, I don't know, a shoe salesman for this amount of time. And they use their home address and get an LLC. And now they want funding on that. And it takes like 6 months. And now they're back into the corporate world, which I don't suggest, but is a thing. That's why they don't like home addresses.
Mm.
They don't like cell phones. They want a business phone.
The
They don't like
business phone meaning a landline phone, not even a voice
G.
over IP phone, right?
No, that's a voice over IP phone. It's something that you did an extra step to.
Got it. Got it. Okay.
So if you're using Google Voice or using whatever else, that still counts.
Okay. So to get this clear, you're proving that you're A, legit,
Correct.
right? And B, that you've had some time under your belt and that you have a real address. So now if I'm working a home business, right?
Mhm.
My practice happens to run out of my other room. Um, so if I had a personal mailbox or a UPS box or even go to the post office box, is that still good enough?
Post office box are not good enough.
Oh
You
my
end up
goodness.
getting a virtual address.
A virtual
Hopefully,
address would work.
right. Hopefully
Okay.
one in your area that you can go to if you need to,
Yeah.
least in your state.
Oh my
Um,
gosh, right? Okay.
right.
So then to to further that out, why do they need all of that stuff? I mean, if I'm not at that fake address and I'm not at that fake VoIP phone, but I have my cell phone and I'm in this physical address, why wouldn't that be good enough?
Because it's not good enough for the banks is not my rule. I wish I had a better
Got
because
it. Okay.
they're
So they
trying to
just
get
want they just want legit companies, right? They
they
want to
want
be able to
legit
track
companies.
you down and they think they can track you down out of a PMB before they can out of your
Right.
home address.
Right.
Okay.
Another thing is your email address. They don't like Gmail, Google, all the not real email addresses.
Yeah, at
They
Yahoo,
want you to
Marcia
actually,
at Yahoo,
yeah, Juno. I mean, let's be old about it.
AOL.
Yeah, all of those things.
Got it.
They don't like those free addresses. They want a real one. You need to have a website because
Got
they're
it.
going to look you up. So these
Got it.
creditors, whether they're huge, like we're talking Wells Fargo, Bank of America, Chase, they go and do research online without asking you anything. So they're going to the Secretary of State, they're going to your website. Do you look real? Do I want to lend
Got
you
it.
money? Because they're lending the business money. So the business has to be credible.
Got it. Okay, so step number one, legitimize your business and make it look and feel like a real business.
Correct.
It is functioning and has been functioning for a period of time. Okay, check.
Okay. Well, it doesn't even have to be. You just have to be well organized. When
Well
you
organized.
apply for your EIN, what also we think should be happening is like our Social Security number, we put that down, that tracks us, that number tracks us. But your EIN number is only really being tracked by the IRS
Mm,
because that's where you file your taxes, all your things.
right.
However, corporate credit is on your address. So if you've hopped around address, so you had your LLC made by some lawyer. Oh, I don't have an address. Fine, I'll use mine. So you got that address. And then you finally get your address and then you move states and da 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 da. I found somebody with seven.
Oh
Seven,
my goodness.
one business, seven, because she had hopped around and she had changed and DBAs and whatnot else. But there she also, according to Dun& and Bradstreet, had 7 accounts. So now we have to call and get them all linked. This is one company. It's a mess. So your
Wow.
address is actually what is tracking this rather than your EIN number.
That's crazy. That
Uh,
is okay. So legitimize, get a solid address. And is there a period of time they're looking back? You mentioned 7 years. So if I did move around 7 years and you know, I was
mm,
smart enough to keep the same, you know, number at Dun and Bradstreet, would it would it matter? I mean,
no, they're just looking at the articles of incorporation. That's that year. That's the
okay.
number they're looking at. So
Okay, cool.
your business for funding on itself usually should be at least a year old, but 3 years old is best.
Okay, cool. So a 3 year window is best to do that. And that's if you're getting credit. So then you have to look back 3 years and make sure you're establishing yourself early on. So as you mentioned, from starting from day one, let's build this out the right way.
It's so much easier from day one, but most of us don't know.
Of
So
course
then
not. Of
today or
course not.
tomorrow or
Awesome. Awesome.
soon.
Okay. So now we've got all that set up. We've got our EIN number. We've got our address lined up.
Mhm.
What else do we need to have?
So next thing, so now we have a credible business. Next thing is letting these bureaus know you exist. So register your number. These free advice here. Register your number with 411. Go to Dun& and Bradstreet's website, get yourself a DUNS number. It is free. They want you to pay for it. There's ways around it.
Okay.
Experian a business, do the same thing. Go register yourself with it. This is my business. I'm here. Hey, I exist. Do the same thing with Equifax. So now
Okay.
all three of the agencies know you exist. 411 has your number. Again, all going back to I have a credible business. After you do
With a
those
legit address and an
with
EIN.
with a fake address that they think's legitimate.
Okay.
Some of this doesn't make sense to me. I didn't make the rules. I would love to. After we do those two things, which honestly takes the most amount of time.
I was gonna say those are pretty big checklists that you have to do to knock that one out.
Right,
But it's important
for sure. Because you
because you're
can't go to the other
establishing
steps
a
too.
foundation, it sounds like, for stating and raising your hand saying I'm a legitimate business, which, here in Las Vegas, you have to go get you have to file with the city, you have to file with county, you have to file with state, right? So then all those three filings also, legitimize everything as well, but they all need to have the same address and the same telephone number and, everything else that lines up. So, yikes.
Right. It's really positioning your company in the best light. And you should have done it anyway. You're not building a
Should
business.
have,
You should
but we
have.
didn't.
No, probably
So
not.
all of this is repairable though, right? It's
It is.
changeable and correctable and getting it
Correct.
cleaned up and organized so that you can actually stand in front of a bank when you want to borrow some money to buy new equipment or buy the building you're in or invest in some sort of, growth opportunity. You're already did it, right?
Exactly. Correct. It's like going into, if you have good personal, if you're going into a bank because you want a loan and you've got a 750 score, you go in there with some swagger. If you go in there with like a 520, you're like, probably not going to happen. So when the businesses go for credit, okay, so now we're like, okay, well, we do have a credible company, we don't have a credible company.
Okay.
I don't know. But you go in and you ask for a business loan, and if you have no idea about this, you're going to go to your bank, ask for a business loan. They'll say,
Yep.
sure, we gave you your little card, all these things. You have probably built some sort of corporate credit with your bank if you have longevity with them and you've done a really good job. They might give you something that's not personally guaranteed. Maybe. But if you don't like their terms, or you don't like the bank, or if you used a credit union, nothing against credit unions, but none of them do anything with business finances. Um, you can't go shop around. This is not
Mm,
something you can shop around. You cannot go to the Ford dealership and say, I want to get a van for my business because I have a plumbing business and I want a van. They're not going to say yes. In fact,
mm.
the Ford company probably, or whatever company, usually whatever, probably doesn't even know that's a thing. That's a definite argument we have when I go, okay, no, use this bank. This is my corporate credit. Just contact this person and it'll be fine. And then they do. And then the representative or the person who's selling the card, the dealer will be like, hey, this actually worked. Yeah, dude, it actually works.
Nice. Nice. Okay. So, okay, you gave us a lot of information there.
Yeah.
So let's summarize it up so that way the audience can stay intact. We're gonna keep the address consistent across the board with
Mhm.
a telephone number. We're gonna make sure we have an EIN, and we're gonna make sure the credit that we're building is actually reporting and we've registered with those three agencies,
Oh,
right?
let me add one.
Okay.
Nav.com.
What is that?
nav.com. That actually works as your like when you do your own personal and you do the Experian account and it tracks it, Nav does it for business. It's
Got it.
also free.
Okay, awesome. I love the free stuff, and it is true. Most places they want to sell you something, but there's always a free option to,
Mhm.
get the benefit of it, especially in the credit space, right?
Mhm.
Um, all right, so we've done all that. How do we start to really build? So how do I go to my credit company or the place that I have a card, or as you mentioned earlier, vendors that I already frequently do business with? How do I get them to report on my behalf?
Good luck, honestly.
Okay.
Just being honest. If you Google this mess and you ask, how do I build corporate credit? It's going to send you to one of three places, all three. Great, excuse me, Granger, Uline, Quill.
Got it. Okay. Familiar
Okay,
with all three of
all
those.
three of those will issue you some sort of like net 30, net 15 corporate credit for like 500 bucks. Nothing big. But that starts to build corporate credit.
That's a line of credit, a line item on your credit report saying that
Right.
you have paid on time.
Correct. Over and over and over again. And even if you're at a home business and you're buying like toilet paper or whatever from these type of things, that's fine.
Okay.
Another one is a bunch of gas cards.
Really?
Gas
In the
cards
business
do,
name.
yeah, and the business name will give you some sort of net 30 line of credit that you can utilize for your business.
Okay.
Most banks, I can, this is where I'm going to hold back some stuff because, that's the secret sauce. Who actually reports? You can do it the hard way and like just try and then check your NAV and see if anything happened. I mean, that just takes a long time. But a few banks report. You can get their credit card and it reports. A lots of banks, like credit unions, none of them are reporting.
Got it.
Then there's
And they're
other,
actually filing a monthly report to the three bureaus on your behalf.
right, maybe one of the bureaus. They're
Okay.
probably, it costs them, the problem is, well, one of the problems, there are many. One of the problems is that it costs them to report.
Got it.
So nobody wants to report because they don't want the extra
They don't
fees.
want to pay.
They don't
Right.
want to
Right.
pay. So if you go, I'll just pick on something like a Kohl's card. If you're buying using a Kohl's card, that one's definitely not going to report.
Right.
But depending on, there's four tiers. Depending on the tier, like Lowe's and Home Depot do report. However, you have to get the special card and you already have to have some sort of business credit. So if you just go in there and say, I'm Sue and I have a plumbing industry and I want a corporate card. They'll go, great, it's personally guaranteed. You have to
Got it.
jump
And they're
through
not reporting
and they're
until
not
you get
reporting.
to their upscale one.
Correct.
Well, that's really important for the trades industry, to
Hmm.
have that kind of thing because they're in there buying products all the time for their clients, right? They're buying. So, as an example, I had a client a few years ago that would do the remodeling of cabinets and pantries and closets and those kind of things and garages, and she'd go and buy all this stuff and then sell it to her client with a small markup
Hmm.
and then install everything in there and build it all out. And I'm thinking to myself, I bet she did it all on her personal card thinking it was all good, right? And she was not building anything.
Correct.
So, yeah, so if you're buying supplies for your products or buying widgets to make your product that you actually sell, then you definitely want to have those relationships that are reporting, right?
Right. And some of them, like I was talking to a chemical person and half of his budget. And keep in mind, corporate credit is not built on more money. It is on your budget, just getting to a vendor or a trade line that actually reports. That's the key.
Okay.
So In some cases, we can actually get them to report. So he was buying a ton of chemicals and he's like, I need this line item to report because I can't get it to report anywhere else. And sometimes you can get into negotiations with those type of vendors and they will report. But that's kind of few. There's a way to report payroll. A few, like one that I know of, payroll company reports. It's not ADP. Um, and then if you can get your utilities to report,
Got
there's a
it.
way to do that as well. It's not going to be through whatever your gas company or electrical company is. There's like an intermediary place there.
Right.
So you can get those to report. So it's all these strategies to get what you're using now to actually report. And you need several trade lines. You need a couple things to report. And I have a buddy who uses 4 different gas cards.
Wow.
So every time he goes to the gas station, he's using a different card, going to a different gas station and pays them off as he should. And now he's got 4 lines reporting all in gas cards. And that has helped. I mean, the little bits. We're not
The
talking
little
about,
bits add up.
oh, for
Yeah.
sure. It's not a whole lot
Okay.
of money in this.
Well, okay, let's go back to the original question of why is this so friggin' hard? And yet all the banks are requiring that you have this credit, this corporate credit established, and it's so flippin' hard to get it to get any credit.
Okay, I have no proof of this, but I think Dun& Bradstreet broke it on purpose.
Really? Okay.
I have no proof, zero proof, but they are from my hometown, their first office and everything. And back when I was a teenager, like people would go there and do data entry. But the banks actually want you to personally guarantee things. They don't want this
Um,
sort of unsecured thing. So the bank
they
just
don't want
makes
this
it
entity, they don't want to loan money to the entity, they want to loan money to you.
right. And then they want your house or your
Exactly.
kid's college savings fund or whatever else.
Yeah.
So the banks make it sound like you're building business credit, but they really
Mm,
don't want to lend a business credit. They want to lend you credit because you're on the hook.
got it.
Yeah, I think it's a broken
Broken
industry
system.
before I even got to it. And now I'm learning about it. And I'm like, wow, this is really broken, but I know how to game it.
You know what? And I think that's the value. We as business owners, right? There is that corporate veil that you establish when you become an S corporation, a C corporation if you're a bigger company, an entity, I mean an enterprise, or if you are an LLC, right? Those are meant to protect your personal assets from any business threats, right? And so, I mean, dumbing it down here is as much as possible. But that's the whole idea. And then there's tax advantages and so much more that you get because you have corporations, right? But the whole corporate veil is meant to protect your personal entity from your business life. So then now if we're looking to really protect that corporate veil, right? We really want to have that corporate credit established as, teeth pulling as it is in place so you can start to build that credit. And when you go buy machinery or when you want to go buy the truck, for the fleet, or you want to, do other stuff or improve, or even, like I said, buy an asset like you're building, you're in a better position to do that.
For sure. So just on the corporate veil, and I love that you talked about that. So if you buy a truck and now it's personally guaranteed because that's what the bank told you you had to do and you didn't know any better, so that's what you did. And you bought your truck, it's personally guaranteed, it has your name on the side,
Joe
somebody's,
Schmo and brothers.
yeah, somebody in flowers, whatever, and the truck gets into an accident, who are they suing? So you personally own the truck, not the
Yeah.
business, even though the name's on the side. So the corporate, every time we personally guarantee everything, we're putting holes in that veil.
Ah, that's crazy. Okay. So let's talk one more way if possible, because I know in the personal credit line from my old mortgage days, like, 100 years ago, if you didn't have credit in this, you could go and prove via a letter from vendors or a letter from the, alternative credit, they called it, right? So you went
Mhm.
to the phone company, Pac Bell or Ma Bell at the time, and you said, "Look, I've had a phone with you for 3 years. Can you write me a letter saying I've had good credit line with you?" And then you would submit that. Is there anything like that with vendors that you can submit on your own? You get it as a, like they send the letter in. Is there any way to
Yeah,
get alternative credit?
I don't think so because I don't think people are looking at this. It is a
Hmm.
bot.
No way.
Oh, for sure. It's a bot. The bot
So
just
I'm dating Chad GPT.
oh,
So
you
if
guys
he
are close,
knows
huh?
me and he's friendly with me, will he give me a good mark?
Yeah, so we actually at Turing partnered with some of the people who made the software for the big banks that walk them through this process. There's 150 things that bot, that algorithm is looking at.
Wow.
And we just touched on a very, very few of them.
Sure.
And like for the Secretary of State, if you're not properly in the right category, it'll throw you out just like that. If there's two addresses that are conflicting, it'll throw you out. So it's a bot, unfortunately.
Got it. Got it. So the end all beat all is that corporate credit is extremely important to protect your corporate veil and protect your personal finances and enable you to do more things with your business and leverage opportunities, but you shouldn't go it alone. It sounds like you need to have somebody that understands how to navigate this because it's not as easy as just going, "Hey, American Express or, Discover or, Chase, report," right? Because
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
probably not doing it, even though you
Yeah.
think they are.
Yes, for sure. For
That's
sure.
crazy.
So,
Okay.
yep, the knowledge and then the follow-up, doing it with a coach is the way that it's been done for a long, long time. Um, but they were expensive, like 3,000 on up. That, yeah. So there's other ways to do it. You can, a coach like me, there is software, that you can utilize, and I'll give you the link to that and check it out and see if that's good for you. That's AI driven, so that's good. But then when you need the hey, so what about? Then there's always me to
Yeah.
talk to.
Hey, it said it was, it's not. How come it's not, to have that hand holding, I think is worth the setup and the establishment. And then the annual review, I think would be, look at me, I'm setting up your business, right? Saying that
Yeah,
you're giving an
perfect.
annual review. But I mean, that would be something to me as a business owner looking to establish credit so I can protect everything and do the right way. I need somebody to do it because again, I'm not focusing on that. I'm
No,
just
no.
spending and
Yeah, your
paying.
head's down and you're building your business and you're doing the
Yes.
things. And this is like in the background, it's not your focus. And once you get to established business, Dun and Bradstreet, everybody knows you exist, and you go to the vendors line, then it's just a matter of using it and paying it off and using it and paying it off. So you go through months of that. And that's what builds your corporate credit. So there is a run up, but then it kind of dies off and it's not top of mind anymore because now you're in the process and you're doing it.
Got it. Got it. Okay. So, Sue, this is like you opened up so many cans of worms that I didn't think existed because I thought I was doing it the right way originally, but apparently I'm not. So now I need help. So, how does someone who's sitting in their car right now or, on the treadmill listening to this going, "Holy crap," right? I'm not where I thought I was. How do I check this out? How can they get some help with you?
Sure. You can contact me on LinkedIn as I'm on that all the time. And my kind of page that'll tell you a bit more about this is on the platform, and it's Suzanne at tryturing.ai. There's no N in that. Um, is a great way just to look it up yourself and to kind of see what the heck's going on with that. But LinkedIn is a great way, or email me at suebiz-fi.io and I'll hook you up there.
Perfect. And listeners, all of that will be in the podcast notes. So stream down about halfway and you'll see all of Sue's links so you know exactly where to go to find her and get some help because my goodness, the last thing you want to do is have that experience of you driving your work truck and you crash into something and then they go after your personal assets because you personally guaranteed that loan.
Yep.
right? It's a stupid little nuance that you didn't even realize the risk you were taking. So don't take those risks and get some help. Make sure you're set up in corporate and then figure out a way to unpersonally guarantee your business assets, your business lines. So it works for you. I mean, my goodness, crazy stuff on here. Okay, so thank you, Sue. You know, for me, it's just important to have knowledge, right? If you didn't know, you didn't know, you didn't know, and there's no shame on that, but now you do know, so do something about it and reach out to Sue. All right, thanks for tuning in today. I hope you picked up some valuable insights and actionable ideas that'll help you make your business more profitable. And I know having a good line of business credit, corporate credit that's protecting your personal assets is definitely an important thing that you should have for all the reasons we did. And so I'd suggest you now are aware and take advantage of it. All right,
Thank
though,
you.
but before
Yep.
we go, if you're ready to bring in more of the right clients and keep more of the income that you earn, go grab my free Profit Booster Growth Map. It pinpoints the top 3 moves that you can do right now to grow your revenue and stop those profit leaks fast. You can get it anytime at profitbooster.biz. Just click on Growth Map. Again, a couple little minutes, couple questions, and it'll print out a report for you with some really great ideas. And don't forget to subscribe. You don't want to miss future shows. You can always find Profit with a Plan on any of your favorite podcast platforms. And we're looking forward to more great profitable ideas on next week's show. So until then, make your plans and profit with them. Thank you so very much, Sue. This is great.